Hello, and welcome. We often gaze up at the stars, marveling at the vastness of the universe above, yet right beneath our very feet lies a world equally mysterious, a realm of darkness and silence that holds some of humanity's most profound secrets and nature's most spectacular creations. For millennia, these hidden wonders have lain dormant, waiting patiently in the deep, silent earth for the moment of their rediscovery. It is a world of lost cities, forgotten armies, and natural cathedrals of impossible beauty, each with a story to tell. Today I invite you to join me on an extraordinary journey. We will peel back the layers of soil and stone to venture into the depths, from the silent vigil of an ancient army to cities carved from living rock, and from prehistoric art galleries to nature's own crystalline masterpieces. The wonders we are about to witness challenge our understanding of the past and the very limits of what is possible on our planet. I urge you to stay with me until the very end, for our final destination is a place that has rewritten history itself. A discovery so ancient and so baffling, it continues to puzzle the greatest minds of our time. The secrets of the underworld await. Let us begin our descent. Our journey begins in the heart of China, in the Shanxi province, a land of dusty Loess plains that have been farmed for countless generations. It was here, in 1974, that a group of local farmers, in their search for water during a severe drought, made a discovery that would echo through history. As they drilled a well, their tools struck not rock, but something else entirely. The fired clay head of a soldier, staring blankly back at them from the earth. Little did they know, they had breached the outer defenses of one of the most astonishing archaeological finds of all time. They had stumbled upon the Terracotta Army, a silent subterranean legion crafted to guard the tomb of China's first emperor Qin Shi Huang in the afterlife. For over 2 millennia, this vast force had stood at attention in complete darkness, unknown to the world above. The scale of it is almost impossible to comprehend. Thousands upon thousands of life-size soldiers, each one meticulously detailed, stand in battle formation within vast underground corridors. What is truly remarkable is the individuality of each warrior. Their faces are not cast from a single mold. Instead, each one is unique, a portrait of a real soldier from the emperor's formidable army. The figures are not just infantrymen. Here are archers, poised to release their arrows. Here are cavalrymen, standing beside their powerful terracotta steeds. And here are the generals and officers, their more elaborate armor and confident posture marking them as leaders. They were once brightly painted, a vibrant and terrifying spectacle, though the sudden exposure to air has caused much of the delicate pigment to flake away, leaving them in their familiar earthen hue. The discovery continues to unfold. New pits are still being uncovered, revealing more warriors, as well as acrobats, musicians, and civil servants, all intended to provide for the emperor in the next life. The Terracotta Army is more than just a collection of statues. It is a time capsule, offering an unparalleled glimpse into the military power, the organizational genius, and the profound belief systems that shaped the birth of China as a unified nation. We now travel west, to the otherworldly landscape of Cappadocia in central Turkey. This is a region famous for its fairy chimneys, bizarre rock formations sculpted by millennia of wind and water. But the greatest wonders of Cappadocia are not those that rise towards the sky, but those that descend deep into the volcanic tuff below. Here, hidden beneath a modern town, lies an underground city of staggering complexity and size, Derinkuyu. Its rediscovery was, like so many others, purely accidental. In 1963, a local resident was renovating his home. After knocking down a wall in his basement, he found himself looking not at solid rock, but into a dark, mysterious passageway. Driven by curiosity, he ventured inside, and in doing so, became the first person in centuries to walk the streets of this subterranean metropolis. What he had found was not a simple cave or a cellar, but an entire city. Derinkuyu plunges more than 85 meters, nearly 300 feet into the earth, encompassing at least 18 distinct levels. It is a masterpiece of underground engineering capable of housing up to 20,000 people, along with their livestock and food supplies. It is a true city, complete with living quarters, stables, churches with vaulted ceilings, and even a winery with a grape press. It is a self-contained world designed for survival. The purpose of this vast complex was defense. Massive, circular stone doors weighing up to half a ton could be rolled into place to seal off corridors from invaders. These could only be operated from the inside, making the city a virtually impregnable fortress. A brilliant ventilation system consisting of shafts that reach all the way to the surface provided fresh air to even the deepest levels, a feat of engineering that still astounds experts today. Life in Derinkuyu must have been a strange troglodytic existence, the constant dim light of oil lamps, the echoing sounds in the rock-hewn chambers, the complete separation from the sun and sky. Yet it was a functioning community. There were schools, meeting halls, and communal kitchens, a deep well provided water, ensuring that the inhabitants could withstand a prolonged siege without ever needing to venture outside. Exploring Derinkuyu today is a humbling experience. As you descend deeper and deeper into its labyrinthine tunnels, passing through narrow passages that open into vast halls, you can almost feel the presence of the thousands who once called this place home. It is a testament to human ingenuity and our remarkable capacity to adapt and survive in the most extreme of circumstances. Our story now takes us to the Dordogne region of southwestern France, a land of rolling hills, dense forests, and meandering rivers. It is a landscape that has long been a cradle of human history. But in September 1940, during the dark days of the Second World War, it became the setting for a discovery that would transport us back to the very dawn of human creativity. A discovery made not by archaeologists, but by 4 teenage boys and their dog. The boys were out for a walk when their dog, Robot, disappeared down a hole that had been opened up by a fallen pine tree. Worried for their companion, one of the boys, Marcel Ravidat, enlarged the opening and slipped inside. What he found was not a simple burrow, but a deep cavern. A few days later, equipped with a homemade lamp, the boys returned to explore properly. The light from their lamp danced across the walls and they froze, utterly mesmerized by what they saw. They were standing in a prehistoric art gallery. The walls and ceilings of the cave were covered in a breathtaking panorama of animals, painted with astonishing skill and vibrancy. Here were powerful bulls, herds of galloping horses, elegant stags with magnificent antlers, and mysterious abstract symbols. They had stumbled upon the Lascaux cave, a masterpiece of Paleolithic art, created by our ancestors some 17,000 years ago. The paintings are remarkable not just for their age but for their artistic sophistication. The artists used the natural contours of the cave walls to give their creations a sense of three-dimensional depth and movement. They employed techniques like perspective and shading that were thought to have been invented thousands of years later. The colors, rich ochres, deep blacks, and vivid reds, were made from ground-up minerals mixed with animal fat or cave water and applied with moss, fur, or even by blowing the pigment through a hollow bone. The most famous section, known as the Great Hall of the Bulls, is a stunning composition. 4 enormous wild bulls, or aurochs, some stretching over 5 meters in length, dominate the scene. They seem to surge with life and power, a testament to the deep connection these ancient people had with the natural world. Today, the original Lascaux cave is sealed to the public. The breath of thousands of visitors in the 20th century began to damage the delicate artwork. But meticulous replicas, known as Lascaux II and Lascaux IV, have been created nearby, allowing us to experience the wonder without harming the original. We now delve beneath the bustling streets of one of the world's busiest cities, London. Millions of people traverse its famous underground system every day, unaware that another, even more secret railway network lies hidden in the darkness nearby. This is the Post Office Railway, better known as the Mail Rail, a miniature driverless electric railway that for over 75 years ferried millions of letters and parcels across the city in secret. Its story begins in the early 20th century. London's streets were notoriously congested with horse-drawn traffic, causing significant delays to the Royal Mail's delivery service. A visionary plan was conceived to bypass the gridlock on the surface by building a dedicated subterranean railway. Construction began in 1914, but was soon interrupted by the First World War, during which the completed tunnels were used to store and protect priceless art treasures from the Tate Gallery and the National Portrait Gallery from German Zeppelin raids. Finally opened in 1927, the Mail Rail was an engineering marvel of its time. It ran for 6.5 miles, from Paddington in the west to Whitechapel in the east, connecting major sorting offices along its route. The small red electric trains were entirely automated, a pioneering achievement. They navigated the narrow 2-foot gauge tunnels at speeds of up to 35 miles per hour, operating 22 hours a day, a silent, efficient river of communication flowing unseen beneath the city's feet. At its peak, the Mail Rail carried over 4 million letters every single day. It was the pulsing artery of London's postal system, a vital piece of infrastructure that remained almost completely unknown to the public it served. The workers who maintained this hidden world, the engineers and mechanics, were part of a secret society of sorts, guardians of a system that was both futuristic and utterly invisible. The tunnels themselves are a time capsule. They are only 7 feet in diameter in some places, a claustrophobic world of brick and iron. However, by the late 20th century, the system was becoming antiquated. Larger, centralized sorting offices and the decline of letter writing in favor of digital communication rendered the mail rail uneconomical. In 2003, after 76 years of continuous service, the last train completed its journey, and the system was mothballed. But that is not the end of the story. In 2017, a section of this remarkable railway was reopened to the public as part of the Postal Museum. We return to another great European capital, Paris. Known as the City of Light, it is celebrated for its romance, art and beauty. But beneath its elegant boulevards and charming cafes lies a dark and sprawling mirror image, the Paris catacombs. This is not a natural cave system, but a vast man-made labyrinth, a chilling ossuary that holds the skeletal remains of more than 6 million people. It is the world's largest grave. The story of the catacombs begins with a public health crisis in the late 18th century. Paris's cemeteries, particularly the Central Holy Innocents Cemetery, were overflowing. For centuries, the dead had been buried in mass graves, one on top of the other. The ground had become saturated with decomposing remains, leading to cave-ins and, more alarmingly, the spread of disease. The situation was untenable. The city's dead were literally poisoning the living. A radical solution was proposed. The city rested upon a vast network of ancient limestone quarries, tunnels that had been excavated over centuries to provide the building stone for the city itself. It was decided to exhume the bones from the overflowing cemeteries and transfer them to these subterranean tunnels. This colossal and grisly undertaking began in 1786 and continued for decades, mostly under the cover of darkness. Night after night, solemn processions of horse-drawn carts, draped in black and led by priests, would transport the exhumed bones from the cemeteries to their new resting place. The bones were unceremoniously tipped down shafts into the quarries below. It was a purely practical solution to a grim problem. But what began as a disorganized bone repository would soon be transformed into something else entirely. In the early 19th century, the director of the Paris Mine Inspection Service, Louis-Étienne Éricard de Thury, undertook the task of renovating the ossuary. He transformed the chaotic piles of bones into the macabre yet artful displays we see today. Skulls and femurs were arranged into neat decorative walls and patterns. Altars, pillars, and arches were constructed entirely from human remains. Passages were given names from the streets above, and plaques were inscribed with poetry and religious passages reflecting on the fragility of life and the inevitability of death. One famous inscription above an entrance reads, "Arrête, c'est ici l'empire de la mort, stop, this is the empire of death." The catacombs became a place not just of storage, but of morbid contemplation, a vast memento mori. Today, a small section of this 200-mile network is open to the public, offering a profoundly unsettling and unforgettable experience. To walk through these corridors is to be confronted with mortality on an industrial scale. Each skull represents a life, a Parisian who once walked the streets above. Here, stripped of all identity, they are united in death, forming the very architecture of this subterranean kingdom. The Paris catacombs are a stark reminder of the city's hidden history and a powerful meditation on what lies beneath the surface, both literally and metaphorically. Our journey now takes us deep beneath the Chihuahuan Desert in Mexico to a place that looks like it belongs on another planet. Here, connected to the Naica mine, is a geological wonder that defies belief. The Cueva de los Cristales, the Cave of the Crystals. It is a subterranean chamber filled with the largest natural crystals ever found on Earth, a silent, otherworldly cathedral of pure selenite. This incredible discovery was made in the year 2000 by two brothers, Eloy and Javier Delgado, who were drilling for new deposits of silver, lead and zinc for the Naica Mining Company. They broke through a wall of rock 300 meters, nearly 1,000 feet below the surface, and found themselves gazing into a cavern of impossible beauty. Giant, milky white crystal beams crisscrossed the chamber in every direction, some reaching over 11 meters in length and weighing more than 50 tons. The cave is a geological freak of nature, the result of a perfect and long-lasting set of conditions. For at least 500,000 years the cavern was filled with mineral-rich groundwater, heated by a magma chamber lying deep below. This water was kept at a stable temperature of around 58 degrees Celsius, the precise temperature at which anhydrite, a mineral in the water, dissolved and slowly reformed as gypsum, the crystalline form known as selenite. This incredibly slow and stable process allowed the crystals to grow to their colossal, unprecedented size. However, this crystalline wonderland is also one of the most hostile environments on Earth for human beings. The air temperature hovers at a blistering 58 degrees Celsius with 90 to 99% humidity. Without specialized protective suits equipped with a cooling system and a supply of chilled air, a person would not survive for more than 10 minutes. The hot, humid air would cause fluid to condense inside the lungs, leading to suffocation. This extreme environment makes studying the cave incredibly difficult and dangerous. Scientists and explorers must work in short bursts, their bodies pushed to the absolute limit. Every moment inside is a race against time. The crystals themselves are also incredibly fragile. They are made of gypsum, which is so soft you can scratch it with a fingernail. The slightest misstep could damage a formation that took thousands of years to grow. The future of the Cave of the Crystals is uncertain. The mining operations that keep it drained of water have ceased, and the pumps have been turned off. The cave is slowly, inexorably, refilling with water. While this will preserve the crystals and perhaps even allow them to grow again, it will also seal them off from human eyes once more. This breathtaking discovery, a fleeting glimpse into Earth's deep creative power, is destined to return to the darkness from which it came. For our final and perhaps most profound discovery, we return to Turkey, to the rolling hills of the Anatolian plains. Here, atop a rounded mound, lies a site that has fundamentally changed our understanding of human civilization. This is Göbekli Tepe, which translates to Potbelly Hill. Buried for nearly 12,000 years, it is, by a staggering margin, the oldest temple complex ever discovered. Its unearthing began in 1994, led by the German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt. He had noted reports of strange, large limestone slabs found by local farmers. When he began to excavate, he quickly realized he was not looking at a medieval cemetery, as was first thought, but at something far, far older. Using geomagnetic surveys, his team detected circles of enormous standing stones hidden just beneath the surface of the hill. What they uncovered was a series of magnificent circular structures. At the center of each stood two massive T-shaped pillars, some weighing up to 16 tons, surrounded by smaller pillars facing inward. These were not crude, primitive monoliths. They were intricately carved with a menagerie of animals: foxes, snakes, wild boars, cranes, and lions. The artistry is sophisticated and powerful, a complex symbolic language from a lost world. The truly revolutionary aspect of Göbekli Tepe is its age. It was built around 9600 BC. To put that into perspective, it is 6,000 years older than Stonehenge and 7,000 years older than the Great Pyramids of Giza. It predates the invention of writing, pottery, and the wheel. Most remarkably, it was built by people who were, as far as we know, hunter-gatherers. This discovery turns a long-held theory of civilization on its head. For decades, archaeologists believed that the invention of agriculture came first, leading to settled communities, which then had the time and resources to develop complex religion and build monumental structures. But Göbekli Tepe suggests the opposite may be true. The builders of this temple were nomads. It seems that the immense coordinated effort required to build this sacred site may have been the very catalyst that led people to settle down, to domesticate plants and animals to feed the workforce. The desire to worship, to come together for a common spiritual purpose, may have been what sparked the agricultural revolution itself. Even more mysterious is what happened to this vast complex. Around 8000 BC, after more than 1,000 years of use, Göbekli Tepe was deliberately and carefully buried. Its creators filled in the entire site with millions of cubic feet of earth, rubble, and animal bones, creating the artificial hill that preserved it perfectly for millennia. Why would a culture spend centuries building such a monument only to entomb it? We simply do not know. Göbekli Tepe is a discovery that asks more questions than it answers. Who were these people? What did they believe? Why did they carve these specific animals, and why did they bury their sacred place? It is a profound mystery from the dawn of what we call civilization. It reminds us that our story is far older and more complex than we ever imagined, and that the greatest secrets of our past may still be sleeping, waiting for us, just beneath the surface of a simple, pot-bellied hill. We have journeyed from the silent armies of ancient China to the very first temple of humankind, from crystal palaces deep within the earth to the secret arteries of a modern city. Each of these discoveries serves as a powerful testament to the fact that our planet still holds countless secrets. The world beneath our feet is a library of time, a museum of natural wonders, and a crypt of forgotten civilizations. The stories we have uncovered today are just a few chapters from this immense hidden volume. What other marvels lie sleeping in the darkness, waiting for a chance encounter or a curious mind to bring them back into the light? The sheer diversity of these finds is what I find most astonishing. From the intensely personal, the individual faces of the Terracotta Army, to the monumentally communal effort of Göbekli Tepe, they speak to the incredible breadth of human experience and ingenuity. They remind us that history is not a simple, linear path, but a rich and complex tapestry, with many threads still lost to us. The Earth is a patient guardian, and it only reveals its secrets when it is ready. Our journey of discovery is far from over. The world is vast, and the next incredible find could be anywhere. So I thank you for joining me on this descent into the unknown. We have only scratched the surface, and the mysteries that await are as deep as the Earth itself. Until our next adventure, keep looking, keep questioning, and never lose your sense of wonder for the incredible world we all share.